All right, guys, welcome back. Tonight, we're going to be going over some of the new developments that have actually just been emerging over the last couple of hours. One, President Trump releases a brutal post addressing Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, and he wasn't pulling any punches. He even said that Brigitte Macron was more beautiful than Candace Owens. It was not funny at all. So, yeah, and guys, Patricia is back. She wasn't here last night, so she's here today, and we are going to be going through this together. Now, guys, remember the drill, okay? You cannot come onto the live stream, watching the live stream without a drink. Okay, so you have to have something to drink. I have my herbal tea. Patricia today has water. And then a few of you just come with your drink of choice and your opinions. Okay, now feel free to post your thoughts in the chat. And as always, I will read your chat. Please make sense, okay? None of the TDS diarrhea. And even if you're going to have TDS diarrhea, lace it with some points, okay? Some arguments that actually make sense. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the report. Oh yeah, Huck is in the chat. Huck Finn is in the chat. Okay, so Huck, meet Patricia. Patricia is U.S. Air Force veteran as well. And like I said, look, I would love to have Huck as part of the panel. I don't know if Huck is interested because what I would like is to have people who actually know what it's like, okay, to serve the United States of America, not the politicians who are there to essentially fleece the American people. Patricia, you want to say hi to Huck?
Huck Finn, you're my hero. So just carry on.
All righty. So
for serving.
Yeah, so I'm going to read this. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. All right. Here's what you're going to do. Yes, U.S. Army Ranger veteran. My goodness. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh my. Okay. Look, it would have been fantastic to have a show with Huck Finn to break down the rescue that took place over the weekend. It would just be great. Yeah. It's just mind blowing. And then in reaction to the rescue and Trump's tweet, like these people who have been okay, I'm going to just calm down. I'm going to calm down and let's start with the first post that we're going to be looking at. CNN's Brad on Message says Todd on Trump's Truth. Okay, Trump's Truth Social posts about Tucker, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, and so on. We're going to listen to what they have to say about this. These guys are absolutely so excited because they feel like there's a MAGA civil war going on. I don't think there's a MAGA civil war going on.
No.
Okay. I have to read this, okay? Huck Finn says the CSAR was a success. Yes, it was. It was a resounding success. Although we lost some equipment during the mission, well, the mission was accomplished. We got our Weasel back. Guys, I was talking to my wife and I said to her, the fact that the United States could blow up over $1 billion, maybe almost $2 billion worth of equipment to save 2 lives says something about the value system of the United States. I can't see my country of origin doing that.
Our people are priceless. You can't put a price on their value.
Yeah. All right. So let's just listen to this. We're going to have every opportunity to talk about this as the show goes on. And remember, if there's a story that catches your attention that you feel like we should consider bringing into this conversation, feel free to post it in the chat, and we're going to jump into it today. The last live stream we had together, Patricia, we said we were just going to relax and talk, and we wound up relaxing and talking for over 3 hours.
Yes.
Okay. And when you're doing YouTube kind of tries to tell you what to do in order to get more audience. And sometimes there's audiences out there who run into your content and tell you that they don't like you and tell you that, they wouldn't listen to you talking for 3 hours. But Patricia and I were just having fun that night, and we talked for a long time. We won't tell you how long we talk personally because it's scandalous how long we talk. So we're just having fun, and we'd like you to do the same. So let's know if there's a story out there that you want us to talk about. But let's listen to this reaction to President Trump's absolute destruction of these people who were seen as MAGA influencers, and suddenly they turn on President Trump and they think that MAGA exists outside of President Trump, which is a big mistake. And we're going to talk about that during this stream. Oh my goodness, what did I do? It's playing, but I can't hear it. 1 second. Patricia, when this happens, I just start like, what's going on? 1 second, I just need to figure this out, make sure everything is as it should be. Tell me if you can hear it at your end.
Nope, no sound.
No sound. Here we go. Okay, I need to be sure this is doing what it should do. I'm going to test another. So guys, we spent 4 hours setting up for tonight. 4 hours. So when things like this happen, let me see if this will play.
Well, it's a new program.
It's a new program, but I don't like it when things don't do what they're supposed to do.
Murphy's Law. Plan B. Let Patty talk.
Yeah. So while we're trying to get this video to really play out loud, which is weird. Let's see everything. So we're just going to. So oh, no wonder. Let's see. Let's do this. Not sure why this is doing this.
Does it?
There we go.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I wish this was a smooth. The same thing happened the last time. Sorry. Is this the same video? Yeah, it's the same video. All right. Sorry, guys, for that.
I also think what we're seeing is the sharks circling in the water. The Trump era is ending.
What?
It has to. And
you wish.
What they're does it? I'm not going there quite yet. Is the fight for the future of
She's
the
in a
and what you're
fish
seeing
mode.
now, and the president's I would say making it very
frosted
easy for that fight
glass.
now to burst out into the open because of his actions, which are hugely controversial. But there is a huge split in MAGA over Israel in particular. That was the early lead indicator, and now over the Iran war, which this group of the right thinks Israel dragged the United States into. And so if you want to take the crown, you have to take down the king. And I think that's what you're seeing.
You can't judge the entire circus by a couple of clowns. And that's what we have here. I mean, the dovish, isolationist, anti-American military wing of the Republican Party, it's not a wing. It's a shed in the backyard.
Ow.
Just a very, very few people. They just happen to have a pretty good megaphone. And we pay way too much attention to them. If you go to the House,
wow. Who's this guy? Give him a raise.
Megyn Kelly campaigned with
Now
them.
let's watch
these
the
are all people
split
that
amongst
you
the
can't say that the
Democrats.
last election was like the podcast election, and then all of a sudden say, these people don't matter. I mean, it is a clear sign of trouble for the coalition.
I don't think the people that got Trump elected are people who are ideologically in the middle and saw Kamala Harris and the Democrats as too far left. That's the people that got elected.
Yep.
Podcasters,
Yep.
political operatives. We don't get people elected. The people that get people elected are the voters.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well said. Well, give this guy a raise. Okay. So
Wow.
I said something to you, Patricia, before we went live. I said I needed to show this picture, and I'm just going to enlarge it. I hope you guys can see it on the screen. Okay. This is a post from the debate night, where Donald Trump showed up on Tucker Carlson's Young network. He had just been fired from Fox News. He was growing his new platform, and this was the 19th episode, and he features President Trump on debate night, and he gets millions of views, 146 million views. He didn't get those views because he was Tucker Carlson. He got those views because President Trump showed up on his platform. These guys are desperate to make it look like President Trump is losing MAGA because of a few people who just latched on to the MAGA brand like ticks, because like that's what it feels like, guys. I'm not insulting them, but it feels that way. Because whenever you see people who switch their opinion on someone and make up accusations saying that President Trump changed his views on Iran because Israel whispered sweet nothings into his ear, it shows that they were never a part of the movement. If you were a part of the movement, you followed Trump's speeches for the last 10 years. I've been a Trump supporter for 10 years. 10. And do I agree?
Since the 80s.
Yeah, like there are many of you who are watching, you've been following his career since the 70s and the 80s. You've heard him again and again talk about Iran. The last time we played a montage of him speaking about Iran for 46 years. And he's been consistent. And then Alex Jones goes out and posts something that says that Donald Trump changed. He did not change. He's been talking about Israel for 46 years.
And
so,
Marjorie Taylor Greene said the same thing, that Trump changed. And when she said that, it hit me. She was never MAGA.
No, she wasn't.
She was Tea Party.
See that?
She was Tea Party along with Rand Paul.
Yeah.
And I can't remember how Tucker Carlson portrayed the Tea Party, but he may have also been Tea Party.
Yeah.
And Candace Owens, same thing.
Yeah. Huckfin sends a post, says DJT is playing the long game as it should have been done many years ago in regards to the Middle East.
Yes.
It's a very simple posture. Look, Megyn Kelly, we're going to listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Huck says it was the Shia militias that targeted our troops in Iraq, trying to fill a power vacuum. And Huck was on the receiving end of these guys.
Yes, he was. The Sunni and the Kurds were not the problem in Iraq. It was the Shiite.
You know, so like look, right now I'm sending out an open invitation to Huck. If you're interested in even if it's just one show, we feature you, we talk about these things in real time, because it's one thing for someone like me to kind of empathize with people in the military who have to face these characters in the theater of war, and say, look, there's something about these militias who have been attacking the United States Army for the last 40 years, who are sponsored by Iran. It's a different situation when someone who's actually been on the receiving end of that violence to be on the show to say, this is real, and what President Trump is trying to sort out is not about Israel. These people pose a real threat to American lives, that because an ocean separates you and them doesn't mean that the threat doesn't exist and it isn't real. Besides that, Biden left the border open for 4 years. Who's to say that they didn't send in operatives who will be operating, who at a moment's notice could have launched an attack on U.S. soil coordinated by the IRGC?
Yeah, they are here. Don't even think that they're not.
Yeah.
Because they walked across the border.
They did. And one of them, there was a video that was circulating that where someone who was clearly Middle Eastern was ranting and saying, very soon you will know my name. I'm like, is that a threat? Okay, and that video went viral during the Biden years. Hawk says the Kurds in Iraq knew the real battle in the region was Chevron, BP, and the Bank of London in an energy war. The IRGC is backed by the City of London Bank. Look, oh gosh. Yep. Okay, I did not know that, but it's plausible because the UK is coddling the IRGC and supporters of the IRGC.
They're the only ones that haven't sent the Islamists from Iran home.
Yes. Okay.
They're letting them keep their embassy open.
Yeah. Trump just checkmated the Bank of London. So when you look at everything that has happened to Trump over the last 10 years, and you overlay that with his statements about Iran and the globalists, everything that he's been saying for the last 40 years, it should be clear to everyone why they opposed him so much and why they attempted to assassinate him. It should be clear to everyone. Now, London mayor is who? He's a Muslim.
Yes.
The mayor of London is a Muslim. I didn't cover the issue with the rape gangs when it was big last year because somehow I was still trying to figure out what I should and shouldn't cover. But when you look at how a country that has essentially been overrun by Islamists who have inserted themselves into the corridors of power have turned out, how those countries have turned out.
Well, look at Minnesota.
Look at Minnesota.
Yeah.
And everyone wants us to, shut our eyes and pretend like none of that is happening. All right, so let's pivot over. We're still going to keep talking. Marjorie Taylor Greene goes on Alex Jones' show to repeat the woke Reich talking points. It's funny because these idiots act as if it's a known fact that Americans don't support Trump. If that were true, why the need to tell people to wake up over and over again? You wouldn't need to convince us of anything if that were the case. This is the thing that I have also said about the left. The left treats all of us as if we're imbeciles. They talk down to you because they think you're not smart enough to make up your own mind. And when you make up your own mind, how dare you move against the grain? Okay. So this is a public service announcement. If you post these promotional stuff in the chat, trying to get me to sponsor something, you're never going to get me to sponsor Jack. Send me an email. Okay, you guys can get my email. Send me an email. Don't post that in my chat. If you post anything in my chat, you get banned instantly. Hawk says the destruction of Iran was conducted by left-wing agitators and foreign Islamists. But Patricia and I have been saying this for months. We've been talking about this for months. Her cousin lived in Iran when the revolution took place. Let's listen to MTG, or according to POTUS, MTB, because he calls her Marjorie Taylor Brown. But let's listen to what she has to say on Alex Jones's show.
The Republican Party needs burned to the ground. This is not the same man that we supported. You know, we voted for America first. That's what MAGA was supposed to be. The reason why I resigned is President Trump called me a traitor and then said he was going to primary me like he's doing to Thomas Massey right now. And you were courageous to say the truth because many people are afraid to speak the truth. The president has gone insane. And it's time to use the 25th Amendment. He's not mentally stable. Everyone has to be honest and realistic and wake up and look at the facts.
I hate the new Trump. I'm just going to be honest. I hate this person. This is a disgusting husk of the former person.
MAGA went from being America first to now it's America last. The American people have to wake up to the truth. So the American people have to take the blinders off. The American people have to open their eyes and deal with reality and deal with truth. This is not the same man. This is not the same man that we supported.
And yeah, the Democrats are evil. They're completely psychotic. Gavin Newsom will deal with them. But right now, it's
Okay, so essentially, according to Alex Jones, the leftists are absolutely evil. But right now, you need to take down Trump. Without Trump, Alex Jones, without Trump, the Democrats would still be running things and you would be bankrupt and out of business because this new studio you moved into or whatever it is you're running, they would take that away from you too. Everything has cooled down because Trump is in office and they're attacking him.
You have to understand, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned because she knew what she had done already destroyed her career. Now she's out there trying to pick the pieces up out of the mud, except she forgot to clean the mud off of the pieces. She got her hands dirty.
Yeah.
And she got exposed for it. And same thing with this Alex Jones. I mean, you should give each one of those people a balloon for their head with little faces drawn on them. Because they think themselves are so self-important that nothing can bring them down.
Yeah.
And that people should believe whatever they say.
Yeah.
You know, Rush Limbaugh, he was very good at what he did. And even when it came out about his drug addiction, he handled it very well.
Yep.
He didn't resign. He didn't run away and hide. He faced it. These people can't face nothing. When you're wrong, you stand up and you admit it and you ask for forgiveness. You don't go run and hide behind a video camera and talk bad about the person who exposed your wrong.
Well,
and that's what they're doing.
And there's a common denominator here. Every single person right now who's attacking Trump it has been hurt by Trump because Trump said something, he chastised them, or he said something they didn't like at one point. Okay? And they're all curdling together into this mass. And it's like, this is not a good look for you guys.
It's personal vendettas.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Look,
it's
you
like
guys.
Kane's daughter. Senator Kane's daughter did the same thing. Oh, you talk bad about my daddy. No, he didn't. He told the truth about her daddy.
And she didn't like it. And therefore, she got mad, made it personal, and started attacking someone who was doing a good job, or who is doing a good job for the United States.
John Kane would have never ended up a prisoner of war if he would have followed his commander's orders. Period. That's bottom line. The man never did. He had a father who was a general and thought he could do whatever he wanted to. And he even admitted that in front of a camera. So, yeah, privilege does not get you safely home.
Yeah. Huck says, trust the process. Everything will be fine. Look,
Yes.
I've been saying it for months now. Time is our friend. All of these guys that seem to be saying stuff and claiming that, you know, the world is burning because Trump said something mean on X, in 10 years, they're all going to have egg on their face. This is not going to age well.
No, it's not.
It's not going to age well. Why is that? Because already we can all see the lies in their statements. Let me finish this. The fraud and foreign influence to take advantage of our tax dollars is coming to an end. How come all of a sudden, when fraud was found in Minnesota, the ICE protests kicked off in high gear? And then there's fraud found in California now, and it is being, the numbers that are being projected are insane. Suddenly, Gavin Newsom's wife is making appearances. I didn't know he had a wife. She starts making appearances and saying some crazy stuff, and then they begin to talk about the Epstein files. It's just crazy.
Look at this over here. Don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah. These people will be eating crow. They will. They will.
They're like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain.
Yeah. Now, let me know what you think. Okay. There was an incident that took place a couple of days back, and I changed my profile on the platform where I was, and I changed it to my pronouns are love Trump or Trump lover. So I'm thinking of doing that because I want to make it very clear that I'm a Trump supporter, not because of the man, but because of what he stands for. The man has been consistent for a long time. Tulsi Gabbard and the FBI are working overtime. Okay, so Huck is pointing us towards this conversation around fraud. We're going to dive into that story and look at the fraud, but there's a story, and I want to look at that story first before. Is this what I'm looking for? I want to look at a story first, just before we dive into that angle of the investigations that are taking place. The FBI has made an arrest. It was announced that there was an arrest made. The person who leaked the files or the information around the operation had been arrested, and their name was exposed. I had this bookmark, so just bear with me. We're going to look at that first because, of course, earlier we talked about the operation and the success, but the only reason that there was an extended period where the second individual, what the Wizzo, was, it took a while for him to be rescued, was because someone in the news had been tipped off that person was still within Iran, and it complicated the rescue mission. All right, this happens on X a lot. Sorry, I'm just going to try and find that. I bookmarked it, and okay, hold on. FBI arrests. Let me just put that in. So I'm going to just put that in and it should pop up. Yeah, so there's been an arrest made. I just want to quickly look at that story, because it's crazy that you have a former, I think she was a Marine.
I'm not
Was
sure
she a former Marine? Jeez.
I can't remember, but she was. She was in a position to give up information she shouldn't have.
Yeah. For a book. She was trying to do that because she was trying to get a book deal.
It wasn't over a short period of time. It was over a lengthy time.
Yeah. Okay. This is crazy. Okay. Yeah, this is it. So so this is the story over here. Let's watch that, because the FBI is ramping up on arrests, and this is one arrest that, in my opinion, was really quick. Okay. There's no sound hitting the live stream. I don't think this is hitting the live stream. It's not hitting the live stream, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I just took a look and there was nothing. The meter wasn't moving. I want to apologize. I'm going to see if I can quickly fix that. This is really weird. I'm going to see if I can quickly fix that. So Hawk says SADA is bad, has been since Clinton took power in the late 90s, got extremely bad with DEI initiative under Obama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. These women went into the military and they pulled the DEI thing and they thought, well, I can do what I want.
Well,
and when somebody put them in their place,
and then it becomes sexual harassment. That was, and this is that unholy union of the Democrat Party and Hollywood. That was about the same time that they released the movie G.I. Jane. That starred, what's her name now?
I got news for people. I went in the Air Force in 1974. We were at the end of the Vietnam War. And women never served in positions they were putting us in. I was put in pavement maintenance. There was not one male that thought I should be there. And I had to hold my own. I was put in charge of taking a work crew out every day and getting the jobs done. And I did it. I took a lot of slack for it. I got cussed out for it. And I always stood tall. I always stood my ground. And I always got the job done. And that's what it took for a female back then to be in those positions. The females they're putting in those positions under Biden I once told a general when he asked me if I got put in a foxhole with 2 women, what would I do? And I looked him square in the eye and I said, well, my duty is to shoot those other 2 women first, because they will give our position away. And he was floored. He said, really? I said, well, one would be screaming out loud that she broke a fingernail, and the other one would be screaming about the bugs crawling on the ground. So, yeah, I'd shoot them.
And guys, this is coming from a woman who served, okay? So it didn't come from me or from Huck.
I can say that. I can say that. I know who I went through basic training with. And the majority of those girls in basic, I looked at them and thought, my God, what are you doing here? You would hear them cry themselves to sleep at night because they were away from their mommy and daddy. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Why did you even go into the military? Lord have mercy, go home.
Huck says, let's see. Okay, so he was continuing his conversation. Things got extremely bad with DEI initiative under Obama.
Yeah.
Meaning security against communism went downhill, and it was intentional. It was meant to weaken the United States. Okay.
Remember, I told you once that Vietnam was set up to prove to Americans you cannot defeat communism. It wasn't set up to win the war, because a lot of the weapons we had during the Gulf War were available during Vietnam. And if we'd have used those weapons, we would have beat the far out of them. I mean, when they set the whole stage was, you can't bomb Hanoi. So what did the communists do? They put all their military equipment and ammunitions and fuels in Hanoi. They were protected to fight the war. That war was fought without any thought to winning it.
Yeah. Let's catch up with this. It was meant to tear down masculinity in our armed forces. To be honest, Huck continues, I met some tough women in the army, tougher than most guys from the city. They were country girls, of course.
You better believe it.
Yeah. One was a young black female soldier who had 6 older brothers raised on a farm in South Carolina, tough as nails. There are exceptions. She would call out other lazy females in her unit. Yeah, but do you know the problem? And Huck, do you know the problem? That black woman or white woman who's tough as nails would not be the person that is the poster child for the program.
No, they put the little Barbie in there.
Yeah, they'll put the pretty girls that you know would sell calendars. You know,
but
that
I tell you what,
it's just stupid. Okay, so let's see if this works. So let's listen to this report again before we skip, because I'm sorry that I didn't know that the feed wasn't coming through. I hope it works.
Yeah, that's right. Williams had a top secret security clearance
No
while
sound.
she worked with
No sound.
Delta.
Okay, this is weird. No sound at your end?
There was no sound.
Yeah, that's right.
On
Williams
mine.
had a top secret
Okay,
security
it's
clearance while she
the funny thing is once I switched it in here. All right, hold on.
Hey, these things has got too many buttons.
Yeah, it has. But once we have it locked in, we're gonna stop having these weird issues. We'll stop having these weird issues.
You would appreciate that during the Gulf War, there was flatbed trailers that parked at a local truck stop that had Humvees on them. And I had told a guy one time, I said, you know what? I don't think it would hurt to drive one of those off that flatbed and take it down to the creek and have some fun. And he looked at me and he said, well, how would you start it? And I said, those things don't have keys. Can you imagine having to put a key in when you're in a battle? No, there's a button. And he said, you're kidding. I said, no, and I don't think it'll hurt them to drive them off the back of that semi. Everybody told me not to do it, though. I'd get arrested. I said, well, I'll bring it back.
Yeah, that's right. Williams had a top.
Now, the funny thing is, the guys who are watching the live stream can hear it. The bad news is you and I can't, which is just crazy. Oh yeah, like they can. Like I'm playing it and they can hear it, but at our end, it's not coming through, and I don't know why. Okay, so here's what we're going to do tonight. We're just going to just read the posts. We're just going to read the posts. That's all we're going to do. So let's not bother about the video. But here's the thing: someone has been arrested. A female former Delta Force, Delta Force agent, and the guy she sold classified information to, and you can see the Barbie look going for her already. Like, Patricia, would you see yourself posing this way?
Why, of course.
Anywho, I don't want to sound misogynistic. I was just teasing. But yeah, so that's the
Coming
update.
From a female who wore fatigues, got chewed out by a 4-star general for not getting a haircut because he seen me from behind, and then went into total shock that he had a female in fatigues on his base. That was hilarious.
Must have been. All right,
It
so let's look into. Geez, I feel so horrible because I'm trying to see how we can move forward to get these videos to come through. She can. Huck says she can pose all she wants in prison. Traitor. Look.
Oh man, she is facing some serious charges.
But
espionage.
yeah, but
spy,
here's the thing, okay?
Traitor and treason.
Have you noticed that the media has a habit of releasing well-polished photos of criminals? Anyone that they want the legal system to go soft on, they find the most flattering picture of them, and then they put it out there, like they did for the guy who got shot in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Okay, they literally had to Photoshop his jawline and make him look more handsome than he actually was in real life. Why? Because the media wants to begin to poison the jury pool. But this isn't a jury situation, because this is essentially, well, she's ex-military, but she's going to be court-martialed.
Oh, she is going to be facing some stuff she never dreamed of.
Yeah, she's going to be court-martialed. So they're playing to the public sentiment so that when that is going down, they're hoping that the U.S. military and the Pentagon considers not prosecuting her to the fullest extent of military law, and giving her a pass, a slap on the wrist, which normalizes, like Hawk says, they want to normalize criminality.
Huck Finn, am I mistaken? But if she's put on trial by the military, she can be put in front of a firing squad for what she did. That means Gitmo.
Yeah. So and when this trial kicks off, this is the photo, I assume, that's going to be making the rounds. Oh, look at this pretty innocent American who spoke truth to power by leaking classified information. The video goes on to say that that she had already filed a lawsuit against the Pentagon and the U.S. military because of sexual. She got sexually harassed in the military. Look,
that alone tells me that she should have never been put in that position if she couldn't handle herself when somebody said something to her. I can cut somebody off at the knees that even starts it and say, don't even go there. And if you confront them with it, they'll stop.
Yeah. Hawk says, if you can evade the security checks to get a top secret clearance, we've got issues. It was all the DEI thing. And again, people with connections.
I had top secret clearance. I know things that could, well, you're not never going to find out because I won't talk about it.
Moving on. Moving on. So,
but I did have explosive training. Yeah. I could hurt somebody.
This is really frustrating. This is really frustrating. Where
I'm hoping that as this goes forward, that women who took their jobs in the military, dead serious, meant the oath they took, will stand up and condemn this woman for what she did.
Well,
because she put more people's lives in danger than anyone else could have.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the let's see, what else do we have? Most of the posts that we're looking at tonight center around some of the crazy reactions to Trump's Iran position and the war, but we're going to look at the FBI investigations into fraud. Eventually, we're going to talk about it, before we close. But before we move on, if you're watching and you like what you hear, please consider subscribing, hit the bell icon, like the video, share the video. And if you want to support us and help us keep the lights on, consider leaving a super chat, super thank, super something. Make a donation to the channel. It really goes a long way to help us out. Now,
I can tell you how genius Trump is with the peace talks, because the Islamist Iranians that showed up at that in Pakistan, they are in a pickle of a mess, because Trump's telling them, if you don't, I'm going to kill you. And the Islamists back in Iran are telling them, if you do, we're going to kill you. So right now, they've got a choice between who they're going to allow to kill them. That's their choice. Do we have death by an Iranian or death by an American?
They have a decision to make. they have a decision to make. So sorry, I'm trying to figure
won't.
out. Yes, sorry, I'm trying to figure out the audio. Yeah, because it's weird to try to have a live stream that doesn't essentially work the way it should. So I'll fidget with this for a bit before I finally give up.
He walked those guys into a cage. That one exit is a group of tigers that are hungry, and the other exit is a group of lions that are hungry.
Yep.
And they're sitting there in their cage trying to figure out which exit to take. There it goes.
All right, so it's working. Okay.
It
All right.
was.
Yeah. So I paused it. Okay, so let's just listen to this and then we'll wrap it up. I don't know. I'm a completionist. I hate leaving things undone. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to do. All right, so there it goes. So she knew that she was committing a crime.
Yes.
Let's see.
She's one of those women in the foxhole I would have been glad to shoot.
All right, so let me read Hawk's comments. He says, well, let me read the one. He says, they have a threefold problem: the USA, Iranians who want to be free, and the IRGC. And then he says the audio was botched on that one. Is the audio of the feed bad? I need to know what you mean by the audio being botched. I hope it's not reverberating at your end. I just need to know what's going on. I need to give you guys the best quality. Oh, I see. Oh, jeez. Okay, hold on. Let's see if this works. Hold on. I'm still in test mode. Okay, it's still playing. Is it still playing at your end? Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is. So yeah. So I saw something was kind of reverbing. Okay, it was full static on the audio. Is the static still there?
No.
No, I'm asking Huck because he's hearing static and I'm seeing that the signal going out is cleaner. Let's see. Let's just be sure about this. All right, guys, we're hanging out. This is not a full professional production. If you want that, go to Fox News. We're just friends hanging out and just talking about stuff. Yes, there's still static there. Okay.
That ain't good.
No, that is not good. That's not good.
You'll make Huck think he's back in the military listening to a radio broadcast.
No. I don't want him to feel that. Let's see. Properties, display capture, yada, yada, yada.
But I do hope the radios have gotten better since I've been in there.
Okay, let me see. Feed, live stream, and let's see.
View, but send me a statement.
All right, so Huck, tell me, it sounds like squelch static on HF radio. All right, so I'm testing it now. Let me know if this is better.
Calling this a vindictive act of retaliation.
All right, is that clearer? If it's not, then we're just going to figure that out. I'm such a completionist. I need things to be completed, and I'm also in my heart of hearts, I'm a perfectionist. So when someone says it's not perfect, I'm like, gosh, it distracts me. Okay, play it again. I heard it now. Okay.
And saying in part,
all right, I'm going to skip back a little. Okay, yeah, he says it's clear now.
Within Delta Force,
okay.
Where she claims she was sexually harassed and discriminated against while also sharing information about work she would do. A criminal complaint filed today indicates she had...
All right, so if it was squelching, let's do it again, okay? We're just going to hang out. Look, if YouTube destroys the views on this live stream, it's fine, okay? If we get it right this time, it means that next time it's all good. Should I? Anyway, it's just 2 minutes. We're just going to let it play through.
Had a top secret security clearance while she worked with Delta Force there with the Army in Fort Bragg. She's the whistleblower that called out the maltreatment that she was experiencing while working there. But the feds believe she was giving away a lot more than just workplace secrets that could have put soldiers' lives at risk. For 8 years, Courtney Williams worked in the Army's Delta Force at Fort Bragg, behind-the-scenes work to help maintain cover for one of the military's most secretive groups. But now she's being accused of leaking top-secret information to a journalist that could have put soldiers' lives at risk. Williams was quoted in Seth Harp's book, The Fort Bragg Cartel.
My book is critical of these institutions because I think that waging war in secrecy for 20 years gives rise to a host of cultural problems that spill over into communities like Fayetteville.
WRAL interviewed Harp about the book in October. Williams was quoted extensively when referring to a toxic work environment within Delta Force, where she claimed she was sexually harassed and discriminated against while also sharing information about work she would do. A criminal complaint filed today indicates she had concerns about how Harp's reporting could affect her, telling her mother, "I might actually get arrested."
So she knew she was committing a crime.
"I would definitely have been concerned with the amount of classified information being disclosed." She continued, saying in part, "I'm taking deep breaths, but have a feeling this is going to be more of a nightmare for my children than not." Harp declined an interview, but sent me a statement calling this a vindictive act of retaliation and saying in part, former Delta Force operators disclose national defense information on podcasts and YouTube shows every day, but the government is going after Courtney for the sole reason that she exposed sexual harassment and gender discrimination in the unit. So the Eastern District of North Carolina says they will be releasing some sort of press release sometime soon, but don't have a public comment to give me at this point.
All right, so essentially they are playing the victim now because, you know, they lead with the whole sexual harassment story. And
when you are a group of 6 in the military and you end up being the only female, your guys are going to talk about stuff in front of you. And if you can't understand that and you explode it and say, oh, that's harassment. No, that's not harassment. That is what men do when they're out on a job and they see some sexy little broad walk past. They're going to say something.
Hawk says to fix the problem, stop allowing women in special operations. Let women stay in administration.
I agree with him 100%.
look, in combat, okay, if men are in combat, let's just say they're on a military base, they're at an outpost. It doubles military spending to provide different sleeping quarters and showers for both male and female.
Well, the expense of it's one thing, but here's the factor that they should not be allowed in on, is that a female's body cannot withstand what a male's body will. They can't do it.
Yeah.
I weighed 109 pounds when I went in the Air Force. A jackhammer weighed 112 pounds. I couldn't pick it up. I could hold it up and run it, but I could not unload it off a dump truck. So what happened? One of the guys had to get it off if I was going to use it. And it's like I told a general one time that it used to take 4 men to do the job we did. And when they added me, it took 5. That was a waste of personnel.
Yeah.
We couldn't have got the work done on the runway that we were doing if I hadn't had that extra man on the crew to take my part. And that was always something that really bugged me.
Yeah.
I never stood on the sideline and told my guys to work. I picked shovels and rakes and up and was right there beside them. And I never took off my fatigue shirt. We worked in 105-degree weather, laying out 350-degree asphalt.
Wow.
And I worked in a T-shirt with a fatigue shirt over it. And my guys worked in T-shirts. And I was the only one standing there with a fatigue shirt on.
Yep.
And they're not thin.
Huck says they do not belong in combat arms, but in combat service and support. Say that and they'll call you misogynistic, you're discriminating against women, you're backwards, you're not progressive, but it's the truth. Young men with high testosterone think about it. Look,
I agree 100% with Huck Finn.
look,
They don't have nowhere, no business being on the front line.
Look, there's nothing. I'm trying to say this in a classy way, okay? Women in military fatigues is attractive. Let's just leave it at that. So you're putting.
I left my shirt tails hang out.
You know. So when you join the military as a woman, and then men who would hit on a woman, a regular woman, see a woman in military and they're extremely attractive looking because they are well put together. It's some anyway. I'm moving on. Women too hit on men in the military as well. And nobody talks about that because it's okay for women to hit on men, but oh, God forbid that a man should do what he's created to do, which is to hit on women. Okay. So let's talk about this story that Huck hinted at because, it's related. I'm just going to pick up this story. FBI arrests woman and wife in California running a hospice fraud scheme that racked up $7 million over the course of several years. Kudos to Nick Shirley, because if not for him, the media wouldn't be reporting on it.
Yep.
Okay. So let's listen to
guy
this.
has been making some waves.
No, he has, and people should pray for him because he's popular now, and
a FBI-led raid.
So that's the couple being arrested.
Nick Shirley has been given
All right, so I'm on the scene of a
protection
FBI-led raid.
from Officer Tate's program. He's Nick Shirley now has bodyguards.
Oh, from Officer Tatum.
Yeah,
Awesome.
from his private industry of providing bodyguards.
Oh, so he does that. Nice. That's
Yes.
that is beautiful. Huck says, men do not file complaints against the women who do that. That's because men don't care.
It is so hard for a man to come out and say, she attacked me.
But even when they do come out, it's seen as the man is then blamed for reporting it one way or the other. You know, like it's a weird thing to see. Nick is a young hero, God bless him.
One of the females on our base that was put into another position that women had never filled before talked to me one day about the sexual harassment. And I said, honey, you've got to look them square in the eye and tell them, don't even go there. I said, stand your ground, be firm about it, and leave it alone.
Yep.
Because guys who find out women aren't interested in them, they won't keep pushing it.
Yep.
Because they will end up getting publicly embarrassed over it. So, you know, most men will just back off. Well,
Yes,
don't
they
mess
will.
with her.
Yeah. All right. So this is the actual arrest taking place. But let's look at the. Oops, I shut that down too soon. Let's listen to the. Yeah. So let's listen to the Fox News report.
Confirmed that number to Chris Rufo as the staggering amount of fraud in a single program in Gavin Newsom's state Medicaid system. Stop and think about that. $146 billion, a single program, a single state. That is slightly more than Warren Buffett's estimated net worth. It is more than the GDP of several small countries like the Marshall Islands and Dominica, just to name a few. And it is well over $100 billion more than the most valuable NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys. That is just for Medicaid, just in California. So imagine what the total number of fraud is when you count all the social programs in all 50 states. The Trump administration is imagining that, and they are now taking action in a stunning raid of hospice facilities in Gavin Newsom's California. Now, just this week, the Justice Department announced 8 people were arrested accused of defrauding the state out of more than $50 million. That includes one couple who runs a hospice care center in Anaheim. And in dramatic fashion, authorities swarmed their residents, sawing through the metal front gates of the property and used a loudspeaker to get them to come outside. The couple is accused of defrauding taxpayers to the tune of $7 million. And according to reports, their center has been a problem for years. Over the past 5 years, they reported more than 97% of their patients lived, and that's in hospice. That is unheard of. 90% of patients, on average, die less than 6 months after.
All right, so it's the on the side. There's a photo of George Clooney, popular Democrat spokesperson, with the guy who was just arrested with his wife. So what does that say about this?
That's why you shouldn't take advice from actors.
But apart from that, the Democrats have essentially shown that their states are ground zero for fraud. And they are okay with it. Because we saw in Minnesota, Mayor Jacob Frey partying with one of the daycare fraudsters during his campaign. Look, Democrats are in on it. Not 100%, not all of them 100%, but the majority. It's looking like the majority of them are.
The Democrats were receiving money through the back door from these people who were committing the fraud. And the Democrats knew they were committing the fraud. You can't tell me they didn't know.
Well, they'll tell you they didn't, but we all know that that's not true because they're hanging out with them. And once the investigations start, what do the Democrats do? They start deflecting, they start name calling, and they say that this is a witch hunt. And oh, look, someone has been arrested. Oh, we didn't know it was that bad. Oh, we will investigate. We're cooperating with the authorities. Tim Walls. Anyone? Huck Finn says we might be able to fix our national debt with fraud busting.
Yes.
Yeah. And he also says, Minneapolis ran an entire signal chat to distract from fraud and attack ICE. The protesters were funded by the Tides Foundation owned by George Soros.
Soros is an enemy of America.
So why hasn't he been prosecuted?
You know, he's got dual citizenship. He's also a citizen of Hungary. And Hungary has made it illegal for anybody in that country to accept money in campaigns from George Soros.
And that's why George Soros, the WEF, the globalists hate the president of Hungary, Orban.
Yes.
And
because
Trump
he was trying to set up a coup in Hungary to take out the administration, the president there. That man knows more about George Soros than most Americans would ever dream of knowing.
Yeah. So, so there's crazy fraud, and the report we just heard about the arrest of the couple is basically what's making the waves right now. But there's a lot more fraud going on. There's a lot more going on.
Going back to George Soros, does anybody else associate his face with the bad guy in Star Wars? That
Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah. I mean, man, you put that hood on that dude and he looks just like him.
Well, you're right. Okay. Let's see. Hawk says George Soros is tied in with the globalist Marxists to control all of Europe through the EU. They want to end nationalism and control the world with authoritarian regimes. Yep.
And the only authoritarian regime that works to control mass populations is communism, because it works through fear.
So there's lots of fraud happening, and the FBI. Look, we've covered the fraud in Minneapolis. In Minnesota. We've covered that story extensively, and we're just waiting to see what happens with the prosecutions. So we'll see what happens. Hawk says infiltrate, fund, recruit, control education, indoctrinate, protest, disarm, overthrow.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and what we should do is just keep talking about it. Just keep talking. keep talking.
What people really need to do is teach their children well.
Yep.
Let them know the truth about communism and what has happened in history with it.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows what happened in Russia when the communists took over wouldn't want nothing to do with communism.
I made up my mind that I was going to be the one to educate my kids about history. And I don't trust the educational system. I don't trust anyone else. I don't even trust my church to teach my kids about the Bible.
No,
it's my job.
Own 2 cents worth in on it.
Yeah,
but that's like my realization was back in the 80s when I opened up my daughter's history book and found out 2 pages on Vietnam was all that was in that book. And one of the pages was a letter from Richard Nixon. They weren't educating our children about what happened in Vietnam. And I said, we're going to fail in the future because these kids that were educated are going to repeat what happened there.
Yeah. This video looks promising. FAFO time. Colin McDonald gets sworn in, and then boom, first war on fraud arrests. I guess it's the same one, but let's just see if this is the same report.
No sound.
Is it me? Oh, geez. Here we go. Let's see if this works. This is crazy and weird. No sound still. Oh well, okay, let's just leave it. Okay, yeah, let's go into the comments. Hawk says, let's see. You can soft overthrow through electing the enemy into power, which essentially is what's going on in Europe.
Yes.
They're having more children than the natives of the country. It's weird to say that Caucasians are natives, but they are the natives of the land. People have this picture of natives being Africans in loincloths. so these immigrants who essentially hate Western civilization are outbreeding the local original occupants of these countries. I can say it this way because I'm black, so I can say it this way. So it is already it has happened in the UK. The elected officials are literally afraid of the Islamists in their communities because they are the voting bloc now in the UK.
Well, did you see the video on the planners of Epic City in Texas?
Yeah, I saw that video.
They were talking exactly about their agenda to take over America.
Yeah, I would play
a Muslim caliphate.
I would play that video if it. Well, let's just. Oops, sorry. I will play that video.
We've got states making state laws to outlaw Sharia law. And what Congress needs to do is pass a federal law outlawing Sharia law.
Yeah. You can't have two legal systems operating in the same country.
Well,
It
Sharia
is-
law goes totally against the U.S. Constitution.
Yeah. It is madness. It is illegal. No one should agree to it. See. Anyway, let's go into the chat. I don't want to. Let's see.
And they thought they could actually get away with it.
Well, they've been okay. They've been getting away with it progressively, so that they look at this this clown here.
Yeah,
Okay,
good.
and this is live streamed. Okay, this is live streamed. They've been getting away with these sermons, if you will call them that, in their mosques being live streamed, and nothing has happened. Okay, they get away with rallies like this in the middle of New York City, screaming "Death to America," and the same in Minnesota and Michigan. Like, there's a lot of this happening, and there has been no consequences. That's why they've been so brazen about their plans. I'm still looking for that video. Meanwhile, Huck says
we don't have that problem here in this part of Kentucky, but I think it's like that one video that guy put out, that the first thing you would hear is a loud voice over the tornado warning sirens.
Yeah.
Saying there's a bag limit.
Yeah.
Leave enough for everybody to go around. And
Yeah.
the federal government would be saying, please do not taxidermy the enemy.
Yeah. So this video here is just one of the many videos I'm referring to. Okay, Muslim American Society Islamic Center in Philadelphia, and this is a skit being performed, of course, in Arabic by the students or the kids in that center. So, of course, you're going to read the captions. So I don't think we need audio. So you can see the captions. We will do this to their heads. We will liberate the sorrowful. Blah, blah, blah. We will lead the army of Allah fulfilling, and we will subject them to eternal torture. Rebels. Like, this is what they were doing in Gaza. Okay, UNRWA was funding these schools to essentially indoctrinate the kids in Gaza to hate Israel, to hate the culture of the West, and essentially to prepare them to become essentially the new jihadis. Okay, so this has been going on, and they haven't had the consequences that should be coming to them. All right, I'm trying to exit this from, anyway.
Teach children this kind of hate. It was unreal.
Yeah. Were you on when I played that video? Yeah, you were. It was during that last live stream where I played the video that kind of put. I played the video of the people in Iran, the IRGC, who were surrounding the power plant with a little kid in fatigues holding a gun, and then I played the other video of leftists in the United States encouraging their kids to punch an effigy of Donald Trump. Yeah. And they were smiling and taking pictures and videos of their kids hating Trump and being violent on a symbol of Trump. And I'm like, what's like?
Same thing.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
That's the weird partnership of Islamists and leftists. So we're not making this up. We're not drawing conflated connections. We're seeing it in black and white, side by side.
And you have to teach children hate.
You do.
Because they're not born with it.
Okay, my 3-year-old black son had a make-believe wedding ceremony conducted by his kindergarten sweetheart, who is a white girl called Lucy, and she gave him a ring, saying that they were married now. and he comes home and says, "Here's my ring." And I said, "What's going on here? Who gave you that ring?" Lucy did. I'm like, okay. And then I hear that they actually, anyway, hate has to be taught. You can, okay, so let's read this comment.
Is cute and adorable, and James is cute and adorable.
It is. And I met her father. Her father says, Lucy talks about James all the time. I'm like, okay. Okay, let's see about this in 15 years.
Yep, they may become childhood sweethearts.
Well, let's see. Who knows? So Hawk says, pay attention to propagandists, follow the money. Think about it. Most young families were born after 9/11. The education they received is Marxist and LGBTQ gender-bending destruction. Schools shut out all conservative educators. That is true.
Yes.
Islamic private schools want government funding and be public funded. That is true.
And it's even worse in our colleges and universities.
Yeah.
They don't give tenure to educators who are Republicans.
All right. Okay, guys. Okay, my James is crying. So let me get him. Okay, we'll continue. I'm going to figure out how to continue this podcast with James on my lap, because I have to. I can't ignore him. Just give me a second. Sorry, this is not Fox News. It's not professional. So just give me a second. I'll be back.
Ben, I hope sometime you join us on a live broadcast. It's a lot of fun. And forgive me, I can't see the chat. Yes, James is having a meltdown.
All right, guys, sorry. This live stream has been so unprofessional. All right, so I'm gonna be it's okay. Don't know why he's so agitated. All right, let's see.
Did he have a bad dream?
Maybe he was really agitated. Okay, so reading the chat. Yeah, schools. Okay, funding for Islamic private schools. That's even worse. That's even worse than David Koresh, the David Koresh compound in Waco. This is some serious KKK stuff. Teaching this kind of hate should not be in the modern world. But like I said, they've been getting away with it. And then they tell us that that what Christians teach is hate speech. All right, this is the real hate speech.
Yeah, turn the other cheek is hate speech.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it sounds fun. And Huck says it says nothing unprofessional about being a great father. Thank you so much, Huck.
You got that right.
That means a lot. You know, when you watch the successful YouTubers, it feels very sterile. Like you can't succeed on YouTube unless you have great equipment, a great studio, your production is pristine, there's no child crying in the background. You know, that like so it's just it's
Hey,
refreshing
you are
hearing
in
that.
real life.
All of
That's
us
the difference.
all of us are living this in real life, all of us, and it's not, you know, it's like what we're seeing with the MAGA influencers. Okay, like they all claim that they're part of MAGA, but right now they all sound like they're bought and paid for, you know, because if you feel the pain of the regular guy and you understood what went on during the Biden administration, the Biden years, it would terrify you to think that anything that will be done to weaken Trump's base or support for Trump and put the Democrats back into power should actually be allowed to do. But they're doing exactly that. So that means that they're totally out of touch with what the base wants. We don't want the Democrats to get back into power. That is a no-no. I have a video where they essentially, yeah, I have videos of them saying that once they get back into power, they have lists of people who supported Trump, and they're going to they're going to prosecute every single one of them.
Yep.
Like they're telling you what they're going to do.
It will be January 6th all over again.
Yeah.
Just,
you know, they're telling you what they're going to do. And you know what? All the platforms that made it possible for Trump to win the second time, they're going to block every single one of them. Already, Trump is trying to take away their attempts to change the voting base by importing all of these illegal aliens and giving them citizenship and voting rights. John Thune essentially has lost my I have lost all confidence in John Thune. Okay, he has one job, pass the SAFE Act. He has one job. Meanwhile, the Democrats under Hakeem Jeffries have been called back from recess to start conversations around impeaching President Trump under the 25th Amendment. Those guys are in lockstep, and John Thune is busy. I am getting upset right now. How hard can it be to get this thing passed? You have the House and Senate. Midterms are down the road. Next thing you say is we no longer have the House and Senate.
Yeah. It's aggravating. It is. Because you've got men like John Thune that doesn't want to make waves. He wants everybody to like him. He don't want anybody coming after him.
He is a coward.
Yes.
He's a coward, and sorry, you know, I've told you this in private, but I'm going to say it out loud here. And my podcast isn't popular enough for anyone to clip anything, so I'm just going to say it. I believe that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and that I think, okay, I am not Candace Owens, okay, but I feel like his statements about primarying anyone who doesn't support President Trump's program and mandate on everything that he's doing for the American people was a major threat that they wanted neutered because they saw what he was capable of with the 2024 elections. So I have my suspicions about that.
He was a threat to the ones who want to gain the power and keep it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah. It wasn't about him debating, woke students in colleges. It wasn't about that. It was the fact that he was capable of shifting an election the way he did.
Well, if you look at previous assassinations, John F. Kennedy was assassinated because he would not put boots on the ground in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And as soon as LBJ was sworn in, he put boots on the ground and acted the draft so they'd have plenty of bodies to send over there. And the war was never declared by Congress.
Mm.
If a war isn't declared, they shouldn't be allowed to activate the draft.
Yeah. But they did. They did.
Yes, they did.
And this is the same party that's screaming that President Trump is destroying the Constitution. Historically, they don't.
Did the same thing with Korea.
They don't care about the Constitution.
War.
Okay, so I need to read Hawk's posts because he's really picking up steam. Aside from all that, equipment means nothing. It is the message and example set. Thank you so much. I want to set an example that people like you and me, I'm encouraging Patricia to start her YouTube channel because we need more conservatives with a message to be on YouTube, to have their podcast, because you have these people who don't have any convictions. They don't have any convictions. President Trump was just a meal ticket for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And once it's inconvenient for them, they ditch him and begin to say the crazy things that we just heard this evening. Huck continues, Christians untied are a big threat, or united, I guess that's what you're trying to say. Christians united are a big threat to authority. We are one big family when united in scripture and brother and sisterhood. That is very true. They are threatened by us. Huck says again, it is not hard at all. We have the majority in House and Senate. All hands should be on deck to pass it. The voting against those voting against it are compromised. It's clear as day. And then you have a bunch of them. Okay, not a bunch of them, but you know what? I feel like this number is going to climb. So here's the thing. There's something that came up on my feed. When was it? I think it was this afternoon. And essentially, there's a motion that is being talked about in the House and Senate that essentially involves the Republican Party passing something that is almost tantamount to giving a blanket amnesty to illegal aliens. They call it the Dignity Act. Now, this person says, I call it legalized amnesty and deception. Break the law, pay a fee, get work permits, and protected status. In sanctuary cities, even felonies get wiped from the paperwork, so illegals stay shielded. This is being sponsored by Republicans.
And it's wrong.
You haven't passed the SAFE Act. You're moving over to discussing something called the Dignity Act.
No. Our federal law states in very clear language, You cross that border illegally, you're deported. Period. You can be fined, jailed, and deported. And the more times you cross it, come back illegally, the higher the stakes get. You're even banned the first time over from coming back legally for 2 years. 10 years for the second offense and banned forever for the third. And those laws need to be upheld and enforced. And this Dignity Act is going against the federal law. And have they changed the law? No. No change to the law, but they want these stupid acts passed.
Again, I stand by what I said earlier, that Charlie Kirk's assassination had nothing to do with Israel. I think it had more to do with local politics. I think so.
JFK was assassinated over Vietnam. Martin Luther King was assassinated over equal rights.
Mm.
And Charlie Kirk was assassinated over Make America Great Again.
Yeah.
Stand up and voice, let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah. Huck says Tyler Robinson had connections on Discord with Antifa, could have been influenced to do it easily. The Democrat Party has essentially facilitated the creation of a mentally unstable generation.
Yep. That's like Lindsey Graham made the comment that he was going to find out who had developed Antifa. And then it turned to crickets because he found out who did it. And they're all upset with not wanting it brought out to the public because it would cause a problem.
Who created Antifa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who did?
Obama did. He set it up 2 years before he left office. He set up a nonprofit organization that he based in Washington, D.C. That's why he bought a house there, was to oversee his nonprofit organization. I got curious about it and went in on Twitter, on their Twitter post, and there it was. It was broadcasting where Republicans were going to be and for them to show up. And then all at once, it was no longer on Twitter.
Mm.
They moved it to something like WhatsApp.
Yeah. Let's see.
Elon Musk knows who set it up.
Yeah.
Because when he bought Twitter, all that came rolling out.
Huck says, all it takes is agents to infiltrate Antifa and push someone to act. Antifa is backed by the color revolutionist George Soros through NGOs and other non-profits. Same organization that overthrew... Yeah, NGOs. Same organization that overthrew Ukraine during the Orange Revolution. Yep. I told my kids this evening that they should pay attention to history because those who don't learn about history are doomed to repeat it. You know, because you see all these things that have happened before, they'll happen again.
It can cost you your whole entire life.
Yeah.
The life of your family members that you love and friends that you care about.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
It's crazy. Where you and I and Huck are casually talking about this, and
I've talked about it since back in the 80s. It was going on then, and you could see it. Nobody was paying attention to it.
Yeah, but how frustrating is it that you've been talking about it for so long, and it's as if nobody is willing to do anything about it? It just appears that way. And then the one person who looks like he's about to do something is being hamstrung even from within his own party.
That's like the Vietnam thing. They sent our guys over there. They drafted them and sent them to war. When they came home, the Democrats had infiltrated the universities and colleges and got this movement against Vietnam started, to where they attacked the soldiers, not the politicians running the war, but the soldiers who had no choice but to go.
Yeah.
And that never made any sense. Why would you attack the people who were forced to go and not attack the politicians who supported it? And Lady Bird Johnson made a killing off that war. She was part of Huey helicopters. And what did they use in Vietnam the most?
Hueys.
Huey helicopters that got shot down constantly. So they'd have to send them more helicopters. And it was a mess. It was. And at least now we've got a president that tells the military, get it done. Because our military knows how to do it. They know how to win wars. They know how to carry out missions. And when you turn them loose, there ain't nothing else on earth that can be compared to them.
Well, I'm talking to two veterans, and you guys know what you're talking about. Not Hassan Piker. Or even Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson.
Oh, God.
Essentially, I heard today that Tucker Carlson claims that the United States military was defeated by Iran. I haven't seen the post, but I heard that's out there. And it's like, is it the same war that we were tracking? Is it the same war? Is it because the United States Army has been exercising massive restraint to not just level anywhere that these characters go hiding in, especially when they hide within civilian populations?
Well, it's like Tusi said, that right now they've stopped hiding in schools because the children aren't in school. Schools are closed. And so now they're hiding in hospitals because you won't bomb a hospital because it's got injured people in it.
Yeah.
But that's going to make it easy for a ground war. You know where they are.
Well, you know where they are, but they're still using civilians as human shields.
And that is when the ground war starts. Why it will go so fast is because the Iranian people who want their freedom have already done their homework. They've identified the IRGC. They have marked them. They know where they live. That's all they got to do is go out the street and say, that's one right there.
Yeah.
They won't be standing long.
Let me read these posts by Huck, because he's posted some stuff that's in line with what we're talking about. There's a big globalist new world order tearing apart nationalists on a global scale. I think I read that already. Open borders, open control. We got bogged down in rules of engagement. If we took the kid gloves off, total victory would be possible. This is This is ex-military talk, okay? Remember when the politicians during Trump's first term told him that it would take 4 years to get rid of ISIS.
The caliphate.
And when he took that midnight flight over and had that meeting with General Raisin Kane, and he told him that actually it would take him 4 weeks if he had everything he needed. Like, the United States military is the most capable fighting force on the planet.
Well, the major thing you need to understand is that politicians don't know how to do anything except talk. They've never built businesses.
Yep.
They haven't, the majority of them has never served in a military branch. Some of them have never held a public office other than the one that they're sitting in now. So they don't know how to do things. They only know how to talk about it from their own opinion perspectives.
Yeah. Okay, so somehow I got the audio working. Maybe we just played this video that I have queued up. So let's see. Huck also says, I've seen it firsthand where the enemy occupies schools on purpose and mosques. Isn't that against the Geneva Convention?
Yes.
Why is it that everyone is up in arms because Trump posted a tweet calling him
civilization? Here's the thing: the Democrats love to change the meaning of words.
Yep.
And the Iranian civilization that Trump is talking about is Islamist.
Yep.
And do Islamists need to be removed from the face of the earth? You better believe they do.
They are not compatible with modern civilization.
They are not compatible with humanity.
They destroy everything they touch. Okay, this is not conflating or rhetoric. It is just facts. Look at history. Every country where extremists, Islamists take over, they burn everything to the ground, enslave women and children. Look, we can't just allow these leftist crazy people rewrite history when we can see it for ourselves. What happened with Iran? What's happening in Afghanistan? What happened in Pakistan? Pakistan and India are essentially the same country. But once the Pakistanis or once the Muslims decided that they wanted to have their own country, of the two countries, which one is doing a lot better economically?
India. Pakistan is going nowhere.
Huck says the Islamic civilization is colonists' invasion of countries on this planet. They are a scourge to the nations. It is not this is not hate speech, okay? We're reading a report card. All right. Now let's listen to this video just to listen to Scott Jennings again have to defend a simple tweet, and these guys call Trump a war criminal when the Iranians are every day committing war crimes by planting their military assets behind civilians. Okay, it's happening again. It's happening again. I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to, let's enjoy the conversation. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to figure this out. I'll drop my boy at his daycare. Then I'll come back and figure out why the audio keeps cutting out. Let's see. Hawk says, meaning the evil example of this false prophet who plagiarized scripture for his own purpose to outward loot and pillage and control the world.
Yep. And you know, AA, I told you about when I went to boot camp, we found out if we went to church on Sunday, we didn't have to work. So out of 5 of us females, we attended every service they had. And at that same time, in January of 1975, we were training pilots for the Shah of Iran at Lackland Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And when we attended Catholic Mass, those pilots were there. They attended Mass. They weren't attending a Muslim religious service. They were attending Catholic Mass. And it shocked us because we thought over in that area they were all Muslims.
Yeah.
And that wasn't true about the Iranians, that they were Christian. And you've seen the old videos of Iran with women wearing swimming suits and going out to nightclubs and dancing and all that stuff. And then when the Ayatollah moved in, all that ended.
Yeah.
And it was the same way in Venezuela. When the communists took over, the wealth in that country got drained.
Yep.
It all disappeared. A modern civilization was taken back to the Stone Age in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And the people were hunting for food in trash cans. And that's the destruction that history will teach you, that these things will create. It's not progress. It's not nothing that will be good for humanity, because the people who want the control and the power don't care about human life. They don't value human life.
Yeah.
You're totally, the whole population is replaceable.
Yeah.
You start losing too many people, open up your border and just let them come in. Promise them you're going to give them all sorts of free stuff. They'll come. Works every time.
Yeah. Huck says, let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the last post. Let's see. Okay. He was a leader of thieves and criminals, using some stupid verses to excuse himself of his crimes. Just read the whole book like I did. I read it to understand my enemy. And guys, if you stumble upon this video, if you're watching after the fact and you haven't been following the conversation, we're not making enemies of anyone. These are people who outright tell you that if you don't believe the way they do, you're the enemy and you deserve to be ended.
Yes.
That's the doctrine. You know, so you know, and that's the remarkable difference between Christianity and Islam. Okay, Christianity doesn't do that. Now, someone who's been brainwashed by an academic will say, "Oh, what about the Crusades? What about the Dark Ages? What about the Inquisition?" I'm a Christian. I have studied church history. I do not consider those people who did those things Christians, because they were not Christians. So when you're talking
after power and wealth,
yeah. So when you try to judge people, you judge them based on the beliefs preached in the Holy Book that tells you what the way of life is all about, and how these people who are supposed to represent that way of life conduct themselves. So let's do a test. let's look at the Holy Book of Christianity. What does the Holy Book of Christianity say that we as Christians should do for our neighbors and to those who hate us and to our enemies? And then look at the Quran, and then see what it says that Islamists should do to people who don't believe like them and who don't follow their way of life.
Yep.
Two very different books. So it's weird that we have to simplify this argument to people all around the world who claim to be intelligent educators, but they aren't intelligent educators. They are simply evil people who want the world to be destroyed because they can't stand the beauty of a world that has been created through Christianity. Hawk says, they tell you to your face you are the enemy. I did not choose them, they chose me. Jesus told us we would be persecuted. He did not lie. Expose their lies with truth. Convict their hearts to believe the truth. Yeah, it's really that simple. So, I'm not an apologist, okay? I don't do this thing where I set up these debates with non-Christians and try to take down all of their objections and so on. I believe that there are people that have been called to do that. I'm not one of those people. But I do believe that Christians everywhere and anyone who considers themselves a supporter of the Christian faith should educate themselves about what the Bible does say. Commit your life to finding out what the Bible does say. You need help, okay? Someone literally needs to help you to misunderstand the Bible. You need someone to help you misunderstand the Bible. It is so simple. Get into the book.
The strangest things about the Bible is that if you have a question about life and how to live it right, the answer is in that book.
Yeah.
It's all written out. The instructions are there. All you have to do is the right thing. That's all God ever wanted, was for man to do the right thing. And it's not hard to do. If you're standing in a grocery store and you're checking out and you see the woman in front of you get all frustrated because she's put too many groceries in her cart and don't have enough money to pay for it.
Yeah.
And when you look at what she's bought is bare essentials, for God's sakes, dig down in your purse and bring your change out.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
Yep.
You help people in need.
Yep.
You don't take over and supply them with a lifestyle. You help them.
Yeah.
Make them fishers, that will be able to feed their families themselves.
Yeah. Hawk says,
and it's right there in the Bible. It tells you about it.
It is. Get acquainted with the book. Hawk says, if they do not listen, turn away and shake the dust off your feet. And that is true. And that's what I do in the chat. You try to have a decent conversation with people. Hawk and I ran into someone like that yesterday. Jumped into the live stream, doesn't know who's on the stream and who's talking, and just begins to poop all over the place, calling us Republican idiots. I'm like, right. Clearly, your parents didn't teach you manners. Clearly. So I will talk the same way to anyone who's Republican who does that on a leftist live stream. Sit down and have a conversation around the merits of your policy position. Don't call names. Don't simply go into someone's house and begin to attack them. You need to behave yourself. Learn how to behave yourself in public. But
and it's showing the difference between the two things.
Yeah.
And if you list the facts, facts can't be argued with.
Yes.
They can't. I mean, you can't cover up facts. You can try, but you're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
You come off sounding like a complete uneducated idiot.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to need to land the plane because this is not sustainable. We've gone for 2 hours and I can't take him for another hour just fidgeting and listening to us talk about the news and politics. Huck Finn, I posted my email address in reply to one of your comments in the chat. Please consider connecting with us through email. I've given you an open invitation to kind of feature in the in one of the live streams, even if it's just a call in where you just call in using the panel software that we use to talk about some of these things. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to have a great production lighting and anything set up. It's easy to use. You can simply open it up on your phone and just
you
talk.
do have a choice between video and voice.
Yeah, you do. So now the reason why I'm doing this is I like the fact that we can have these conversations with people who have actually lived the life. I have never been in the military. I don't have the constitution to serve in the military. I was never athletic, but I respect the service. I respect what people in the service do. I respect the work that law enforcement does. Even back in Nigeria, yes, we had corrupt police officers, but I would go out of my way to compliment them when they stopped me in the middle of the night to ask for a bribe. I would go out of my way to compliment them and let them know that they were seen and respected. So I would love to have you on the show at any time and just kind of talk about these stories, and hopefully tomorrow when we go live again, I would have sorted out the audio for the live stream. It's crazy that we spent 4 hours today, Patricia, working on this. Everything worked great, and then we go live and it just breaks. So
Murphy's Law.
Yeah, Murphy's Law. So we're going to break Murphy's back eventually because we can't keep having this.
Murphy out.
Yeah, we have to kick him out. So thank you, Huck.
He has to be kicked out.
Yeah, thank you, Huck, for joining us again tonight. Yesterday, I assume, was your first time hanging out with us on our live stream. We used to do daily live streams a few months back, but we're bringing that back, and this is us returning to that form. Every night we get together with our drinks. I just recalled I'm feeling parched. With our drinks.
I'm out of water.
And then we just sit. Yo, you sent me a quick mail. Thank you. I will respond. Patricia did the same thing. I sent her an email and she responded, and now she is my co-host. So we need more co-hosts. We need more. We need more. And, it's really about telling the truth. We need to spread the truth. We need to spread the word. And who knows? Maybe you guys start your own channels and you're able to build an audience.
It's also about teaching people how to question things.
Yeah.
That you hear. And once you start realizing that what you're hearing is not what you're seeing, you can put the two together.
Yeah.
And that takes commentary from people who notice it.
Yeah. I am looking into my inbox to see your email. Okay, I see you. I see you. I see
And
you.
Huck Ben, I am so excited you're here.
Yeah, I see you. So we're gonna call it a night. Patricia, thank you for hanging out as always. Thank you so much for your support. Huck,
Hug and
thank you.
kiss James for me.
Yeah, Jane. Well, I'm doing that right now.
Yes.
I'll try and get him to. I have to turn out the lights here because I have lights and everything, so it's not allowing him to settle in. And he's yanking at my cables. So he's a big boy. He's a big boy for 3. He's 3 years old and he's a big boy. So we will be back tomorrow. Thank you so much, Huck. Thank you, Patricia. And for everyone else who's watching, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Hope you'll join us on the next one. Huck says, my father told me to read into the truth, never trust things at face value that people tell you.
Yes.
I agree. Good night. May the Lord protect you and the family. Thank you so much, Huck and Patricia. Thank you so much for hanging out.
You're very welcome.
All right.
I enjoyed it.